over the fact that you lied about being on TRT. That's kind of messed up, man. No, I never really lied. I just didn't really speak about it, which you can say is probably maybe kind of the same thing, but I wouldn't really say so. There wasn't a time when someone actually asked me, like, oh, Hamza, are you natural or not? And I lied, basically. There wasn't a time where I've made a video telling you, like, oh, hey, guys, I'm natural, when I actually wasn't. I just didn't really speak about it, which, in my opinion, like, I actually don't regret any way that I've done it. I actually am happy with the situation as it is, because if I spoke about it when I first started test, this amount of backlash, which it would have been very similar back then anyway, you get massive backlash for stuff like this. And this amount of backlash probably would have maybe convinced me to like hop off and thinking, oh my God, now people are, you know, they really hate me for this. So, you know, I'll change it, whatever. So I'm glad that I actually was on it for fucking ages to really feel it. And now it's like, I know that people are 10 times more dramatic than it actually is. You made testosterone guides while you were on it. The guides that I made, I've made a few videos on testosterone whilst I was on it. Not many, a few. And I've just given the same advice that I did previously, which got me to improve my levels naturally. So I don't feel bad about that at all. It's just like common sense. I know people are sort of emotional about it, but it's just common sense. If I started at the start of 2024 and I made a testosterone video in like 2023, then it doesn't really downplay the previous advice. And if I made a testosterone video closer to this time, but it has the same advice, like, okay, sleep long enough and whatever, the same advice that I was giving previously, then it doesn't downplay the advice. It's just, I think people get into like an emotional sort of space when it's something like this. Yeah. The internet isn't ready for this kind of discussion. People are too emotional for it, and it's easy to be like, oh, it's unnatural, oh, it's testosterone, or whatever, it's steroids, whatever. Maybe in a few years' time, it'll become more of a real conversation. But right now, the internet's not ready for this. And as many of you guys have seen in the comments, people are too emotional to have a real kind of discussion about this and the importance of hopping on. Even as a young man, it is 10 times less dramatic than people are making out to be. I've had a few people message me saying the exact same things as well. They're like, yeah, I don't know why everyone's making it like such a big deal. It's quite literally like 10 times more exaggerated on the internet of like, whoa, it's crazy, you've just ruined your health. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. And I'm so glad I waited so long to speak about it, because if I saw all these comments, I probably would have actually gotten like scared hearing all this, like, oh, well, you've done this, whoa, be careful. Now that I've been on it for like, it's almost like, what, 1.5 years, 2 years. I'm like, I read all the comments of people who've never even tried it, and I'm like, that's not true at all. Yeah, maybe it probably was a bit of a reputation hit, but at the same time, it's like, because it aligns to my authentic values, it's not really a reputation hit, because it's just judgment on who I actually am. You know what I mean? So it's like, since if I backtracked now and I was uncertain of this and I took this hit to my sort of reputation, whatever, fair enough. But since that I'm actually all for it and I have zero regrets, I haven't felt bad about it like at all, because I'm like, okay, well, if anyone dislikes me for it, they just dislike me. That's all there is, really. And then this is the problem, right? So some people will say you should have spoke about it earlier, and then the same people, when I speak about it, will say, stop talking about it. You're like misleading people. You're getting, you're encouraging other people. So you can't win. Do you guys, like, for the guys here who have seen all this drama, you know what I mean, right? The same people who will say like, oh, well, you should have spoke about it earlier. They'll then comment and say, oh, well, why are you speaking about it? Like, oh, that's so dangerous. You can't win against emotional people. You guys know what I mean, right? So some of you are like very intelligent. I think some of you said this like from the beginning. You can't win against these sort of the people who are leaving hate comments, and they're like, you should have spoke about it before, but now that you're speaking about it, you're a bad person because now you're encouraging people. No, like, if I speak about it, I'm gonna tell you my experience, and my experience is positive. I'm glad I didn't speak about it very early on. I'm really glad, actually, because I would have just come on without a good understanding. Coach Greg, I don't watch his videos, bro. So Hamza's been Hamza's been on. Oh man, it's fair play. It's all business, boys. That's all it is to people who make videos like this. When I was younger, I used to see videos about me, And I used to feel like it was personal. I used to feel like, oh man, I can't believe they said this. It would make me feel terrible. Now, the phrase I just shrug is just like, yeah, it's just business. That's all. How you handling all these hate videos spreading rumors? Honestly, just same as all like the mental health stuff I've just told you. No one can hurt you even 1% as much as your own mind can make you suffer. Once you realize that, it's like you realize, like, bro, if you can make your mind pleasant to be in, you've just taken down the biggest enemy of your life. So then when some fucking random person makes a video about you because they're trying to make money, it's like, so congratulations. Rent is due. They've got to put bread on the table. This is the way they think that they're going to do it. I can't blame them. I don't think it's the best way to make money. I think you can make money with positivity and with more uplifting things rather than sort of downgrading someone else's mission. Sure. But at the same time, this is the path that I've chosen. I've chosen to be someone more like a leader who gives advice and is uplifting. Even though, look, I've always said I'm not perfect. I make tons of mistakes. But I've always made my money and my impact through positive means, through education. Some people make theirs only through tearing down others. I don't think that's the best way to do it, but at the end of the day, they're putting bread on the table for their family, so it's fine. I feel like, if anything, all the recent hate is only more fire and motivation to go harder on this movement. That's honestly how it feels for me. I saw a lot of this stuff recently, and I was literally just thinking, like, good thing, bad thing, who knows? It's just, if anything, it's just training for me to stay sane and to understand how to deal with heat in this career. I'll take it as like I've just gained a fuck ton of XP in this skill. That's the way I see things, right? So, of course, don't get me wrong, of course it hurts in some ways. But also it's like, you kind of just look at it and you're like, there's so much slop content on the internet, especially now with faceless channels and people make videos about each other and stuff. I think everyone who's got like double-digit IQ is kind of sick of it. And you just don't, like, if you've got like fairly decent mental health, you just don't really give that much shit about it. If it's someone you care about, like when it was with me, you probably cared because it was someone you actually, like an educator you actually listened to. But other than that, it's like, who gives a fuck, bro? Like, you can literally, bro, with anyone, we can go and point out the 100 things they've done wrong in their life. Of course you can. Everyone's done hundreds, thousands of things wrong in their life. We can all make a video about each other. But either way, it's like time is finite. So you may as well just choose to educate yourself. That's how I see it. Some people make their living from talking about others. I make my living from experimenting with stuff and then teaching you and giving you the lesson without the scar.